prefer? I mean, I know your artist name. Do you have an artist name? Or you just
I just go by Raul.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know because on your IG you spell it with a V.
Yeah, just it.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah. All right. So Raul. All right. Good. Awesome. What's going on, folks? Welcome to the Lemonade Podcast. I'm your host, Frank. Here at the Lemonade Podcast, we go by the saying, when life gives you lemons, we make lemonade. And we pour it onto the world. And with that, we hope to encourage, inspire, and empower not only those of you tuning in, but our guests themselves. And today's guest is Raul. What's up, Raul?
What up, man? Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, thanks for being here. We appreciate you coming down. You know, you're not too far, which is great. It's an interesting day as far as weather goes. I can tell you that
It's
much.
super gloomy.
It's the June gloom. I mean, it came from May gray, June gloom. I'm in my head. I hope that July is a little bit friendlier to us and a little more sun. However, I do like the cold. I do like the rain. I'm a fan of it, but from time to time, you know, we need a little vitamin D. You know what I mean? So, how are you today?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Chilling, relaxful weekend.
Good. Yeah. Are you creating
complain.
this weekend, or do you?
No, honestly, I've just been relaxing. You know, I've been so burnt out. I just want to take some time. You know. Yeah. It took a couple of months to just a little R&R.
No, it's important. No, we'll touch up on that because I'm going through that right now where I'm like, ooh, you learn to pace yourself, especially when creating, even when there is a demand. So you have to have, like I said, that R&R and whatnot. So where are you from?
I'm from down south, man. Okay. I guess politically it's Otay Mesa.
Okay.
But I call it, home.
No, for sure.
Yeah, I grew up down in Palm Avenue, like the upper side, born and raised, and then I was born over in Chula Vista.
Okay.
I think it's like Sharp's Hospital. Sharp. Yeah. So I was born and raised out here.
Okay. And you've been here all your life?
No. In my mid-20s, I moved out to Los Angeles for 2 years.
Oh, dope. What part?
Over in K-Town.
Okay.
So it's 8th and Vermont was the cross streets, and I guess to put it like in simplest terms, it was over by USC, like 10 minutes up north from it.
Yeah. No, I grew up. I mean, till I was like 15. Out in the San Fernando Valley.
Oh, nice. So, okay.
818. Shout out to the 818. Everybody, if anyone's listening. Probably my sister's about the only one. No. But yeah, I mean, I go back from time to time. It's grown a lot. It's changed a lot, and then for the better. You know, when I was there, it was at least in the part that I was a lot of drugs, violence, prostitution, gangs, all that type of thing, but it was so weird because growing up around it was we weren't faded too much by it. It was just like, oh, this is part of it, and somehow we made it through. We maneuvered through it, which is nice, so tell me a little bit about what it is that you do.
For the most part, I mean, my bread and butter would probably be painting. That's something that I've always been passionate about.
Okay.
But I guess I don't like to be in a box, but if you want to, it'd be mixed media artist. Yeah. So anything that I feel that I could put my hands on and create something, nothing out of something, then I'd gravitate towards it. So it could be sculpture work. It can be, just finding some recycled materials and paint on that. So it just depends.
Yeah.
So, but for the most part, I always go back to painting. That's always my first love.
Okay. So what drove you to that?
I mean, the same as every artist, they go back to the drawing block, and it's just pencil and paper. As far back as I can remember, probably like 5, my dad used to take me on the weekends to, it's an old diner in Chula Vista. It's called Flamingos.
Is it still there?
Nah, it's gone, bro. And, I would be antsy all the time waiting for the food, and so my dad was like, shit, how am I going to entertain this kid,
Yeah, for sure.
And he would grab a napkin, and my mom always had a pen on her in her purse, and and he would just grab a pen and start doing these 5-minute portraits of people sitting around us. And I was so fascinated by it.
Oh, wow.
I was like, whoa, and it was just quick sketches, like just, I don't know, it was a connection there to just see, like, I guess the hand, the pen, the movement.
Yeah.
It was very,
sure.
like, I don't know, it's very, poetic, I guess.
No, yeah. I hear you. Yeah. So was your pops into the arts? Like
yeah,
that?
my dad was a drummer.
Oh,
he was in a band.
Okay.
Yeah, when he was younger.
Do we know the band?
No, I don't. He just, I found this out a couple of years ago. We were just having, he had a carne asada, and, eventually you ask your dad these questions of, like, how he is the man he is today, And that's when I started, like, asking him. And, yeah, he was a drummer in a band. He toured for a little bit around Mexico.
Oh, okay, dope.
Yeah, like and he was raised in Chihuahua.
Okay.
So he performed there, and, yeah, he was always I got my creativity from him.
Yeah,
he was always creative.
It's wild you say that, because I don't know if I mentioned this before on here. It was that I like to think the same way, that I got that part from my dad. Though I didn't meet him much, maybe once or twice in my lifetime. But he played the violin. He was a violinist and stuff. And his story, at least according to my mom, was when he was young, play the violin. He got an opportunity to go to the city to, study it. His mom said no. He got really mad, smashed the violin, and he just called it a day. But then later, in the, later years, he picked it up again and played, the mariachi band and stuff like that. Yeah. So he was known as the artista, then. But yeah, it was, to me, I feel like the same way, like whatever was in his genes came onto me, and I have it in me to that creative, even that, like you said, that what do you call it, when you were just so restless, and waiting for your food, whatever it may be, your father found something or introduced you to something that you could put that energy into, and that's awesome. It's almost like the legacy being handed down. He may not have seen it that way. He's just like, I just gotta calm this kid down, But he understood what it could have done also for you, because maybe what it did for him. I mean, I don't. That's just me.
No, yeah. Not really in a sense, just because he had it rough, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. He had it rough, bro. And I guess that was his outlet.
Yep.
And he wanted to pursue that route of being a musician, because he still does it to this day. He plays the drums. He has this whole little setup where he can sing and stuff like that. And that's like when someone sings in the weekends in the morning, that's normal for me.
Good.
Like, that's what he did. Play Vicente, that, and that's how I learned about, I guess, just. It just started developing and stuff like that, and music's always my passion. And so when I went to art school, you started learning about Kandinsky and how he uses music to transform the canvas, and the gestures are like these musical notes that transform, and wow. In a way, when you hear an art teacher explain it gets kind of like, all right, dude, I don't believe it. But when you're there, like I went to New York for the first time. I was probably like 3 years back, 3 years ago from now, and I was in front of a Kandinsky, and it's huge, man. You're talking about like almost an 8-foot painting, bro, and you're just there, like you're captivated instantly.
Nice.
And it starts to resonate, like sometimes you can only absorb so much information, if verbally.
Yeah,
I feel
for sure, yeah.
And I feel like if you're creative, you gotta understand you're a visual learner.
Yep.
Like that's
visual, kinetic. Yeah. Like I gotta touch, I gotta do.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
So when I finally saw these of what you see in the textbook, it makes sense. Like you're like, oh shit. And then you start applying that to yourself and your fundamentals and stuff like that. Sorry, I go on tangents a lot. So.
No, we're here for it. It's interesting to me.
Honest, yeah.
I when I started this whole thing, the Lemonade Movement, the Lemonade Podcast, I just wanted to sit down with people that I was like a fan of, that I, even people that I was like, oh, their shit is dope. Like, I was talking to somebody the other day about it, and I was like, I would never sit with anybody like you or anybody else that I've had or now or that I will have on, at any point in time. I'm not that guy. I'm not the one who'd be like, hey, how are you? I like your art. I don't know why I'm like that, but I am. Yeah. But this offers me that opportunity. But in the same token, it offers me the opportunity to be like, hey, this person's stuff is dope. Check them out. you know. And now that we're able to have that platform and we build what we build here, you know, it's been a great opportunity for me to do so, but also to connect with somebody like you, and then to learn more about the origin of where your inspiration, your creativity comes from. I mean, we can go back and trace it, you know, which is so dope, because now you're like, hey, I remember being there with my pops and my dad introduced me to this, and that's what sparked this, and so on and so forth. You literally could go back and trace all that, which is super dope. You know what I mean?
So to go off of that, I guess from when I was 5, you know, diner sketches, all that, I started doing the same thing, you know, mirroring what he does. Obviously, they were never close because you don't understand shapes and forms and all that. That comes later. But I feel like my path of being an artist was always there for me. I just never wanted to step foot in it, if that makes sense. And it's only because, you know, I grew up in a traditional Mexican household where it was like art is embraced because that's just part of our culture, but it's also just somewhat of a hobby. Like, that's not going to pay the bills. That's not, you know, but they also, our parents, well, mine didn't see the future of what it could be. You know, like, no one knew YouTube was going to come. No one knew Instagram, social media. Like, this was like in the 90s. You know, so that type of connection with people and that platform it didn't exist.
It didn't exist, so you can't.
So I can understand where the fear was coming from.
For sure.
For them.
Yeah.
But me being, you know, a first generation Mexican American, I wanted to make my parents proud. So I was always conflicted with that. But even I can go more in depth with that. But so from 5 years old, from the diner with sketches, I was in Finney Elementary, which is down south. And there was one of the teachers was friends with an illustrator for Dr. Seuss.
Oh, dope.
And so they came down. It was just one person.
Because Dr. Seuss is from SD, right?
Yeah. And she came down and she did a couple sketches to show us like how it works and stuff. And the final one was drawing the Lorax, the guy.
Yeah.
And she started doing like, okay, we're going to do the circle for the head. We're going to do somewhat of a rectangle for the body. And you do it, and then that's kind of like your first draft. Your second draft is starting to fill in the cheeks, the eyes, the mouth. And you start tripping out because you're like, and it's crazy because if you go to Disney California Adventures, they have that kind of like setup. Yeah, there's the drawing with the animators. And it's the same thing. And even if you go to art school, it's the same thing. You learn about shapes and then forms and then shadows. And, you know, so that was always, like I said, that was the path that was presented for me. And I was obsessed with it. And when I was a kid, I was like, this was around 5th, 6th grade. And then 6th grade came and all the teachers wanted me to draw. Like, I was the go-to kid to draw. So we had like fundraisers and they're like, hey, can you draw cartoons like Rugrats and, you know, and like Rocket Power, Rocco's. And I did all that to a T, like copied, you know, went on, printed some stuff on the computer and just started drawing. And my teachers were amazed. They were like, it looks exactly like the picture that you're drawing from. And so when you hear that kind of compliments, you're like, hell yeah, this is what I want to be. But unfortunately, life always tells you, nah, bro.
It'll hand you some lemons.
You know, and that's exactly what happened. 13, my parents got divorced. And I feel like that was like the pinnacle of divorce for people. Like, divorce I feel like in the early 2000s, late 90s, that was when parents were slowly getting more and more divorced compared to now, I guess, in the pandemic. Because there was a spike.
Okay.
And me being 13 and understanding that, I don't know, man. Something clicked where, you know, my mom was like, oh, you're going to be the man of the house. And that's kind of weird because you're 13. It's like, what does that even look like?
Right.
What, being a man, like, I can't even get a job.
Yeah.
my outlet was sketching. I didn't paint. I didn't draw. I didn't do like these abstract, these huge, I guess, paintings and stuff. I didn't do those yet. I was just drawing as an outlet. And then middle school came, and that's when you learned about electives and all that. And it was always art. I always go to art. And it was weird because I hated school. Like, as soon as my parents got divorced, I didn't want to go to school at all anymore. I was like, man, this is pointless. Yeah. But every time the days hit, when it was time to go art, I would be there.
Right.
Because it was in the morning.
Yeah, something kept you there.
Yeah, I was like, shit, I got to go.
Yeah, I got to go to school.
And the projects were cool. Like, the teacher was all right.
Yeah.
That's when I got the first professional artist I got introduced to was Georgia O'Keeffe.
Okay.
And I was in 7th, 8th grade. And then after that, you go through the motions of being a kid and going to school and just doing these projects. And I would always throw mine away. I never kept my art as a kid. Just threw it away. And I played sports a lot, so I was always competitive. And my teacher always boast about like, oh, these are like my pupils right here. These are my pride. Like, she had a little pool of artists that she thought were going to make it. Right. And I wasn't included. And I got heated. I don't know why. It just got to me. And I was like...
Why do you think she didn't include you?
I think it was because these were all like 8th graders, and I was in 7th grade.
Oh, okay.
And they went through the techniques she gave.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
I wasn't there yet.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
In that sense, yeah.
And I always played sports, and I was somewhat competitive. So I was like, dude, I want to be in that. Like, I want her to show the kids the stuff. I never did. I never got to that point. And then I guess that always stayed with me. Like, once you get older, you realize the pillars you have and the foundation you have, whether as a person or an artist. And that was kind of me trying to navigate what that looks like and what I keep and what I want to let go in life,
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was just like I built up to that, like for her, I guess, to get validation for some reason. Yeah. Like throughout my teens and my early 20s, it was that, trying to seek validation. So that was kind of like the drive.
Yeah. I feel it's conflicting, at least for me, because it's like I create what I create, but at times, I mean, do I need the people's validation, the people's permission? I mean, otherwise, if they don't like it, what am I supposed to do with it? But then it's like, well, I make it for me because I think it's dope, but I want people to like it.
Not you feel good,
No, it does. It does make you feel what I think the appreciation part of it, is important. But me being who I am, I honestly can say that I don't really need the external validation. I don't think I can say today that I'm not like that. I don't know if I ever was. And maybe because I didn't get it, it was like, well, okay, I don't need it, And by the way, you can curse in this.
Okay.
Fuck.
I was like, I don't know, should I?
No, it's big, man. Dude, say what you gotta say. But yeah, man, like the external validation at times, it's conflicting for me because I'm like, I think it's not that I'm validation, but I just want people to appreciate what I make, without shitting on it. But you don't have to like it. I remember Tupac said it once. He was like, you don't have to bump my shit, but please respect it. As creatives, we put so much into what we make, what we create. Something as simple as, a small sketch that you don't know where that's coming from. And at the time, you're taking everything that you've been through, all the lemons, right? Yeah. And here's my lemonade. Here you go. And the world's like, the fuck? What is that? But it's like, just be a little more careful because, everything that you're going through, everything you've gone through, and everything that you are today, like you said, talked about those pillars, that foundation, transcends and you evoke that in your art. And some people sometimes can be mean, can shit on your, what you created, and you're like, holy crap, like, damn, and to me, like I said, the validation, I don't know how to describe that, but it doesn't like faze me. But I look more for, hey, can you just ensure that people respect what I make? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's something that took a while for me to to get a grip on, you know, or like to understand it. Because when you're a kid, you're going through these motions and you're like, you're seeking something, but you don't know what it is. And so comes high school, right? You're introduced to so many different communities, I guess.
No,
like,
no, for sure.
They call it cliques. You know?
No, yeah.
And I gravitated towards skateboarding, skating. And this was the early 2000s. It wasn't accepted. It wasn't in the Olympics. We didn't have skate league.
Yeah.
Nike wasn't involved. You know, it was associated with stoners, like hooligans. You know, that's what they called us. And yeah, man, when I was 13, I got arrested just for skating.
Yeah.
And all because I had these little tags on my skateboard. And I was 13 and we're skating down by East Street. And a cop pulls up in the parking lot. No hesitation, cuffs us.
Damn.
And some nail lady, if it wasn't for her, she comes out screaming, they're boys, they're little boys. Like, what are you doing? And the cop was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
But I feel like if it wasn't for that lady, it would have been way worse. Pat us down. And I never understood what that was, you know? And a lot of my work in my late 20s, I'm 32 now, so like 27 was when I started getting some political in it, in some sense. But that's a steep route to go, man, because you got to arm yourself. You know, if you're just painting because that's how you feel, you got to back up what you do. Sometimes,
for sure.
You know.
Yeah, I get that.
And but yeah, we can talk about that a little later. But yeah, I went through skating, the whole culture, rock and roll. So that's when I realized that I like chaos. You know, I was very reckless.
Okay.
The whole using your body as a rag doll, jumping downstairs, seeing these skaters that are just traveling around the world, like it amped me up. The cool thing about skating is you cover more ground than when you would in a car, in a trolley. You're seeing more shit. So I saw graffiti, colors, bro, vibrant.
Yeah, for sure.
Boom, boom, tags, huge ass tags, and like we're skating in behind alleyways. There wasn't skate parks for us, so we would skate the streets, you know.
Right.
So you'll see these I don't know, these murals, you know. And we went down to the pits, and that's when my sister, who's my brother-in-law now, he was into gangs. He was in the gang, so. That's like the cholos, all that. I grew up with that.
What?
And he was like, oh, you like graffiti? Because I was like trying to mimic the lettering. And he was laughing. And he's like, bro, I have tagger friends. Like, I can bring them.
Yeah.
They can show you some stuff.
Nice.
And my eyes lit up.
Yeah.
I was like, no way. And yeah, I met these guys and it was cool. Sorry, excuse me.
No, you're good. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's eliminated.
And yeah, no. That's how I learned. I went to a swap meet down in Spring Valley and got the $1 cans.
Yeah.
And then we went down to the pits down by Montgomery, and I would practice. Shitty cans, bro. Run. Yeah. I didn't know anything about tips, pressure, hand movement. I didn't learn any of that until later.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was just impatient. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna do this, scribble, shit. But I still did it. And I remember one time, it was me and 4 other homies. We hopped on the trolley around 9 at night. And we went down to Chula Vista on 8th Street, that stop. Yeah. And there's some apartments you can cut through and jump over the fence and go down by the gutters, kind of. And we painted that whole thing. Damn. All of us. Little kids, man. Little traviesos. And we were just painting. And we're so proud. We're like, hell yeah, we did it. We didn't even get caught. Right. And came down, and it was a school night. And we went back to our homes, and then we went back to school in the morning. We're like, hey, after school, we're going to go and check out our work. Like, just see go by. Yeah. It was shit, bro. It was so bad. It was dark. That's that's why I was like, I couldn't see. But yeah, it was so bad. But we're just like, hell yeah, we got that. We did that. And it was like hooked, bro.
Sense of accomplishment.
After that, did more and more. the internet was around now and you can online order, dude, I grabbed my mom's credit card and started racking up cans.
Yeah, she was like, "What the?"
Yeah, and she was supportive. Like that's what I love about her.
Yeah.
She was worried because
She's mom.
yeah, you know, but she was supportive, and that's one thing that I'm appreciative about.
Yeah.
My dad wasn't around that time, but so he didn't really know. It got really bad when it came to graffiti when we painted by Ocean View Hills. There's a wall. People still paint it sometimes, but there's a brown wall. If you're going down the 905 and going up 805 North, so like that turn kind of, you'll see it. And we tagged this whole thing, and I was really proud. That was a moment where I wanted to show my mom, like, this is what I do.
Nice.
Well, I was a kid, you know, I was like 16, 17, man.
Right.
So in a way, it didn't really click to me. And she drove by and saw this huge, like, banger.
Yeah.
And she was so worried, bro. She was like, she didn't know what to say. And then, like, a week later, my dad calls me. He's like, hey, we need to hang out. And that's when he told me, like, I don't think this is a good route for you, like, this and that. And I was kind of like, I was hurt. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Because I was proud of it, you know?
Yeah,
like, my lines were clean. It was me and the homie Spaz. What up, man?
Yeah.
And we went and we painted it up. And, yeah, it was I felt kind of disappointed. But in a way, like, I understand.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's a culture that now it's more glamorized, street artists, you know,
yeah,
street
for sure.
art.
It's definitely out there more.
But back
it's
then,
accepted. Yeah, back then.
It was like, it was underground, bro. It was like, you knew the big crews, you wanted to be part of that, but then you realize that the crew life ain't it. Like, people lose their lives sometimes. Or it's just me personally, I wasn't built for it.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
I just wasn't.
Yeah, I get it.
But I did love the culture, and I loved everything about it.
For sure.
And so,
do you, when you did the murals and you painted and all that stuff, did you go by anything? Can we say that?
yeah. I changed my names a lot.
Okay.
I went by like Orphan.
Okay.
I went by Saint. When I was a kid, that was the very first tag I did, Saint.
Saint?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Saint.
Okay.
And it was eventually you just start going and just messing around with tags and stuff. They never stuck.
Yeah.
I have some friends who are still writing what they wrote when they were like 15, bro.
Yeah. What up, Mike?
What up, Mike?
Is it on? Mike's here.
What's up, guys? A little late today.
Yeah, a little bit. No. What's up, Mike? No, it's so wild because I always say it. Matt, I'm pretty sure, is sick of hearing it, but hip hop is my first love. You know,
Same too, bro.
One of the elements being graffiti. You know, I grew up, with that. I remember seeing the Source magazine. They had a page dedicated to the graffiti worldwide stuff, and you get to see the stuff on trains, on walls, and all that stuff. And I was like, wow, so dope. And I was like the Wild Style. That's why I had my daughter's name,
Nice,
Wild
okay.
Style. You know what I mean? I'm also trying to get this part, because this part's blank on my arm, hooked up. So I might have to come to you and see if you know anybody. No, for real, because I hit up my boy and I won, because he did this one and then he's got one more up here. He designed those and they're all Wild Style. And I want to complete the arm, at least the outside, But yeah, I mean, one of the elements, like I said, graffiti being an element of hip hop, I was always a fan of it. Rapping was the first, but graffiti was dope. I gave a shot at it a little bit, same thing as you said. I saw it on magazines. I try to mimic letters, making, my girlfriend's name at the time and all this stuff, But I never really stuck. Rapping stuck. I was doing that for a while, but that's a whole other conversation, because we can get into hip hop, and I know Matt loves talking about hip hop. In one episode, I think we went for like an hour, just talking about it. Quick question for like, as far as like your parents go, you say your pops didn't really know what you were doing, till he saw that. Did he see that mural?
No, my mom just like
your
tried
mom was
to
just told
describe
him.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
and your mom was worried. She said, "Yo, you gotta talk to your boy."
Yeah.
Okay. I do. It's so great to hear that your mom wasn't, opposed to what you were doing? I think because maybe she understood like the creativity part. She knew and she understood how important it is. Was she ever into arts or?
No, she was into comedy. She has a really great sense of humor.
Okay.
So that's where I got my humor from her.
Can we attest to that? Does your girlfriend? Is he funny? Oh, no, I'm just kidding. I just put her on.
He is, but no, I'm just kidding.
But she's funnier.
I got it from her and just. Sorry.
No, you good. That's good. I mean, it's good to have the humor. To me, from the sounds of it, the household was great. Are you an only child, or did you?
Nah, it's me and my sister.
Okay.
Yeah. She's older, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How far along?
We're 7 years apart.
Okay, yeah. Me and the youngest sister. I'm the baby, and then it's her. Or she came first, but we're 9 years apart.
Okay.
So there's a disconnect at times for a while.
Yeah, same.
Once they leave, you're like the only child, right? So. But it's so great to, at least from what I hear, you have a lot of the culture, and everything, those elements in your household, from music, all of the art, which you expressed in the beginning how you don't want to be boxed in. And that's something that I try to tell myself, like, I don't want to be boxed in because I want to do everything. Why not? Once you start creating one thing, you're like, what can I do here? You want to be able to not necessarily replicate, but you're inspired by somebody else to, hey, I want to give that a shot. I think I could do it. I can do it my own way and whatnot. But it's dope because I think that what is the word that I'm looking for? Just the variation of outlets, the art, was embedded from the jump. From your dad with music, your mom even with comedy, to keep it kind of light. There's a mixture of that, growing with music every day. You're like, yo, this is a norm to me. The drawings, like all of that plays a part in those pillars. Once again, that foundation. And I call it legacy because look at what you're doing today. You're doing what maybe they never even dreamt of doing or may have, but they didn't see themselves doing it. You're taking care of that now. You know what I mean? You're continuing their story. I forgot what film I saw the other day, but it was kind of like that. Everybody has their story, correct? And as generations go on, we continue to build upon that story. And I feel like they began with where they began, what they had. Who knows before that? If you can trace it, great. But then after coming to you, like you're like, oh, pass the torch. I got it. Watch what I can do. And you gladly, we have the internet, and we're able to raise it to a different level. And now you come and you're like, yo, this is what I can do. Now, the street art is embraced by everyone to, on a different level now. You see street artists become and eat off of that, because it is a great outlet. And now it can be recognized as something, a form of expression, which is dope because now I hope that you can stand today and be like, hey, mom, hey, dad, this is what I'm doing. And they're like, okay, I was worried. But I think as a parent you are, but now they're proud of you.
Yeah, they are. I feel like from where I'm at today to go back to where I was in my teens, even my early 20s, it's a huge accomplishment. And that's only because, like last year I graduated from UCSD.
Congratulations.
Like all off of art. I got a full ride.
Yeah,
and it's all with my hands and my mind,
Yeah.
That's something that even to this day, I still look back and I trip out. I'm just like, damn.
Yeah.
I did it.
Well, you did,
in
for
a
sure.
sense.
Yeah. No, I mean, you are doing it.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's that story. You continue to tell the story.
And it's different for everyone. And something I always have a confliction with is comparing myself to others or like when they have their moment, I'm just like, damn. Yeah. Especially if I'm forcing myself to have some R&R and it's, the dust settled. So now it's like you see your friends who are in that pocket and they're having their moment and you're right here relaxing. You're like,
yeah, I mean, everyone has a journey. Everybody's gone through it, While you were grinding, they might have been just sitting on the sidelines, waiting for their shot, waiting to take their shot. or R&R. They were there waiting, as and allowing and just kind of hopefully admiring, watching you do your thing. They're like, oh snap, there he goes. And that's always great to have that community, those people around. With Matt and Mike, I think, at least for me, I've seen their growth within what we're doing, and it's great to watch them do it. I don't know if they see it, or if they've seen me as well. From day one when we first started our first episode, it was like, what? I don't even look at it because I cringe. I'm like, oh man, what the fuck was I doing? And now I'm a little bit better, but being able to see a community, being able to see your friends, true friends, being able to reach their goals, and like you said, in that pocket, like really making shit work for them, it's inspiring, and it was always a great feeling because hopefully they feel the same way about you.
It also, I feel like it shows you like the kind of person, or not even the kind of person, but it shows you the kind of people that come in and out of your life and what they do. Like I picked up a lot of mediums, bro, like to feel comfortable. Yeah. Like I didn't call myself an artist until 26, 27. Yeah. So it's a couple of years I've been an artist.
Right.
I can comfortably say I'm an artist, bro.
Yeah.
It took that long, like, and that's because I picked up like a bunch of stupid shit that, well, I wouldn't say stupid shit. Right. It did help, it did.
Right. It made you who you are today. Yeah.
But to meet the people who they saw potential in me and they stuck around, and I left that and they kept doing it and do great things. Like Isaac Quisada, shout out, man, who works for Tribal, Edmar Ramirez, these people who are so good in their craft, and it's beautiful to see, bro. I respect that from afar.
Yeah. At
one point we were good friends, kind of like we hung out, but I left because we were all tattooing at the same time. I picked it up, but it wasn't in my cards. Like I'd left, and they kept going, and they're doing badass things, and that motivated me in some way, to just like see their growth and be like, damn, how do I do that? But in my own way.
Right. Exactly.
And that's where I kind of like chose, and I kept going that route.
Yeah, it's important to see it that way because a lot of people can get envious of other people's success, and to me, I'm like, yo, what is success to you? You gotta define it for yourself. I know it's cliches at times to hear,
that's a golden question,
but it's like, yo, like, what's success to me? My success is XYZ, and it doesn't look anything like yours, but you're successful, and you may be like, well, I'm not yet, or whatever.
And
but
that's
it's
something that people tell me. They go, damn, like, I'll go on a trip somewhere. I'll get a random DM, and they'll be like, bro, like, you have a cool life, bro, or like, you're doing it. And in my eyes, I'm like, not really, man. Like, I still gotta do this and that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I guess, like, it does humble me, I guess, because it makes me feel like I'm doing something. And life is already chaotic as it is, and like, you're trying to go through the motions.
For sure.
And you trying to own your craft and like practice it. We're all human beings, man. So, like, you gotta learn how to navigate through that, how to balance that. And I feel like a lot of my work reflects that, like chaos and just light and dark.
Yeah.
Yin and yang.
Yeah, the dichotomy.
Yeah, order and chaos. That's a lot of my work reflects that.
Okay.
And that's kind of my goal, is to have a message, put it on canvas.
Yeah.
And also have an energy to it.
I like it. Yeah, that's dope.
Like, when you go to art school, you have to back up what you do. And like you said, like, people tear down your shit. And they did. I got a taste of it. I was in honors, bro. So I was like, they took the cream of the crop for art students. I was in that. These motherfuckers want to go to Yale. They want to go to Columbia. I did too. I do too. For grad school. But these guys have a hunger. And one time they ripped one of my paintings to shred. Like, not physically, obviously, but they went in.
They're critiquing it, yeah.
And I got kind of bummed out. I was like, shit. Yeah, like, it got to me. I was, because like this whole time you're knocking it out of the park. You get compliments, this, that, and the third. And then next thing you know, they go, I don't get it. I don't know what you're doing here. Like what are you trying to portray?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck. And you can't say anything, It's kind of those, like, you take in, you write down your notes, and then after that, you get the floor.
Continue to build, yeah.
And you talk for 10 minutes about what you were trying to do and this and that.
Answer their questions.
And it helps. It's like a workshop.
No, for sure,
like,
yeah.
You do this, and that's literally what the big leagues of art school does.
Yeah.
Because you got to learn how to talk about it comfortably.
For sure.
And if you don't, there's a disconnect with your viewers and yourself.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's so wild because the correlation between all that for me is you have these people anybody who's looking at what you do, looking at you, watching your growth, which is always amazing to do that. And they're telling you, yo, you're doing it. The way that I take it is the fact that there's people out there who've been dreaming of doing something, who wished to be doing something, but for whatever circumstances, whatever lemons have been given to them in life, they just never got around to it. Sometimes the motivation, the discipline even, the lack of, stops them from that. But when they see someone like you and say, oh, shit, he's doing it, and they're proud of that, and hopefully that does ignite that fire, within them to pursue whatever it is that they wanted, and it's beautiful to be able to spark someone's mind, someone's, talent, or just an old idea that they had, and then have them pursue it because of what they saw in you. And yeah, you may not think that you're doing it, but to them you are, because it's more than what they even dreamed of. Just like your folks, they never dreamt that you maybe be who you are. And maybe they did. I'm not knocking them, but in the way that art was taken at the level that you're doing it, they're like, holy crap. We never saw that. Yeah. And you show them something that that was never even imagined, and makes people a believer, and it's amazing to see that, and amazing to always have those people around you to be able to really just touch them with what you create without saying a word at times, because they feel it. Like you said, in your art you want to instill also that energy, so when people see it, they're like, I feel that. That's always an amazing thing about art. And because of it being so subjective, it does that. Yeah. Being amongst all those folks in your class and them, quote unquote, tearing your shit up, right? Tearing it down. I like you said, it was a shitty feeling. But hell, I'd rather have those people than the people who haven't done anything, with their own. Because you're amongst them.
Or yes, man, Like,
for sure.
I that's something that, even if in the art community or in my real life, my group of friends, my close friends, I always try to get the people who tell me the truth. Yeah. That's something.
The brutal honesty.
You need it.
Oh, no, you do. I get that a lot from Mike. I mean, Matt has this thing where he says, that's an idea. And I'm like, fuck. I tell him, hey, man, what are you thinking? I'm hyped. Yeah. And he's like, that's an idea. And
I'm like that too, man. I got a homie, Dogs, and this fool, I'll send him an idea, and he'll go, you could do better, man. And you're just like, damn, dude, right. Give me a break.
It was just wild because that they have the best interests. Yeah. At least those folks. And they know your potential, and they know that you could do better because you are better than that, Unfortunately, sometimes you really love this idea. Yeah. Even like with Mike. Mike came in to the movement at 150. He said, I want to be part of this. I was like, cool. Here's what you can do. And he's like, all right. And he came, boom, 150. Just, I want to do this, I want to do that. And he's creating X, Y, Z. And then after a while, I know it was a lot. It was a lot. And it is a lot because of what we create. And I expect the 150 energy every time. Maybe it could have, to me, it would have been, oh, you're going 100. To him, he's like, man, I'm putting everything into this, And it's, like I said, it's great to see the evolution of people like that in your circle. But they're also very honest. Mm-hmm. And you can tell that they want to be a part of something that they believe, once again, they believe in what you do.
That's something, yeah. It's the belief that you keep with you. And Like even right now that I'm relaxing and I sketch here and there, or I use my iPad a lot to just like make up. I always have ideas.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's one thing that I recommend anyone who is an artist to write down your idea. Take your ideas as gold, because even if it's a shitty idea, it's still a seed that you can water and grow. And even if you think it's a point A to point B, it's really a point A to point Z kind of thing, because maybe that idea took you to there, but now that you look back 6 months ago, you're like, damn, wait, I kind of have something there. And now you go somewhere else with it, and you keep going. And that's what I learned about painting is you start something, and in the end, it's never what you expect it to be.
Sometimes it's way better.
Yeah, and you're amazed at it. And that's something that I respect out of the craft is it's a formulated idea in your mind, but in reality, when you practice or put it to practice, it's something completely different.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And it's cool, man. It's something that lets me zero in, and it's like really meditative for me. I feel like I'm all over the place. My poor girlfriend, we have conversations and I just immediately just lose my train of thought, or I look at something else and it grabs my attention. Yeah, but when it comes to art making, I can be there 12 hours, bro. Just
you're owned in.
Yeah, with some good music and just go at it.
I feel like Mike has something to say.
No, I don't.
Oh.
I don't. I just wanted to talk about that 150%.
Yes.
So I'm giving at least 50%.
At least 50%.
But it's my 100%, and I hope you accept me for the.
No, of course. To me, I was like, man, you're going ham. Yes. And I'm like, he's only gonna want to get better, and he has. Like I'm telling you, like both, Matt and Mike, their growth, man, has been immense. And through all this stuff, we've learned so much. And I always take it. It's so hard. Like, fuck, we fucked it up, and it's not on them. It's on me. Like I wanted, my idea to be perfect, right? Never gonna be, but they've always found a way to ground me, and tell me that that's an idea. But it also like they give me that other side of things, which is great. Now in being a part of a team, allowing people my creative space, like that's tough. That's been tough. But what I've realized with them has been that with these folks in my corner, believe in what I'm doing, what we're doing now, and creating what we're creating, they've like really enhanced my idea, brought it to another level that I didn't even imagine, and it's super, super fucking amazing. So thanks to Matt and Mike for doing that.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Matt, do we have something for Raul today? Here it comes.
Jackie Chan versus Chuck Norris. Go.
Oh shit, there it is.
I'm gonna say Jackie Chan, man. I grew up with him more. I didn't really watch any of Chuck Norris's stuff.
Okay.
So I'd say Jackie Chan.
I think the only Chuck Norris film that I honestly saw was the Sidekicks. I forget the dude's name. Sidekicks, and he was some random dude, and the guy would imagine things.
That's it.
Everything's was recording until about 5 seconds ago. This one says card 1 full, and then this one just turned off, so I just didn't turn it back on.
So for all our Apple Music and our Spotify,
we can pause, bro.
Yeah.
We can pause. Let's pause
we
real
need a new card to finish.
I got you. We'll pause real quick.
One eternity later.
Should be good. Is there a memory card in there?
Yeah, it's recording now.
Okay. I didn't see you put anything in.
No, it's in there.
I just
It's this one's full. The other one's not. That's what it's doing. You're fired. So now I'm fired.
Mike's the host now.
No, absolutely.
Did you see him
Bro,
in the
you're the
wrap-up?
one with the good question.
Did you see him in the wrap up trying to like figure out the intro? That was rough. No. I'm gonna close the door real quick.
You guys didn't put that in the wrap-up video, did you?
Oh, yeah, we did.
Did you really?
Did you really?
Like me trying to do his intro?
Oh yeah, it's
Oh yeah, that was it. That is the intro. That's why I asked you to do it. No.
Bro, you said this was a practice, bro. You said it was a practice,
So
bro.
for the audio part, it was practice. 'Cause it's not
What
in there,
was
but
your
for the
first
episode,
like
I'm
hip
just
hop
you're there, bro.
artist like that?
Bro.
Okay. when I first got introduced to hip hop was I moved to the States when like late 80s. So Brass Monkey was out.
Okay.
So the Beastie Boys were out. That was like the shit that was on the radio. So that was my first introduction. You fast forward a couple more years, The Chronic came out.
Okay.
And there was a little bit in between there where there was like MC Hammer, Vanilla Ice, Mellow Man Ace, Kid Frost, like all these other folks, and whatever was in between there, Salt and Pepper and all that, whatever. But shoot, I don't think I even heard Eazy-E or NWA. But when The Chronic came out, shit was curtains, bro. I was done. That was it, and it was so West Coast. Like that defined everything that came after. And then later on, I moved on to more of like the East Coast, more underground, Talib Kweli, Mos Def, all of that.
The Backpackers.
Yeah, all of that, and everything in between, same thing. But I really appreciated the East Coast. I like the East Coast sound. To me, DJ Premier is just
He's still doing it too, man.
Yeah, it's to me, when you hear Primo, it's hip hop.
No.
Like there's nothing else. Like that's it. Which I love. Every Primo beat is so dope to me. But watching like somebody like the Locks being from the mid '90s, whatever, and then going through all these transitions, labels and whatnot, to be able to watch that was always been really, really cool. But yeah, Jackie Chan, Chuck Norris, I would say Jackie Chan too. I like his spirit, and he can move a lot faster.
He does his own stunts.
Right? Does Norris do his own stunts?
Yeah, he did.
He did. Well, yeah, I believe it.
Watch, I think it was like Enter the Dragon or something, where
Yeah,
he fights Bruce Lee.
Yeah, which is
Stuntman there.
wild because Jackie Chan was in that for like a split second.
What?
Well, yeah, so I don't know if you guys know this, but at least from what I remember watching it, there's a brief second where Bruce Lee's going and he's fighting everybody.
Yeah, Jackie Chan was one of Bruce Lee's stunt guys.
Yeah,
Not that he did stunts for
no.
Bruce Lee, but he was one of the guys that Bruce Lee would basically beat up.
He was going, and all you see is just and then move on to the next dude.
I know that.
And now Jackie Chan was in that.
Oh, damn.
I was like, dang. But he's come a long way, Mr. Chan doing his thing. So, sorry, that was your question, right?
Basically,
My bad. Yeah. Fun times. It was a nice one. Did it?
What's up with your camera, bro?
It
just turned itself off.
Maybe.
This one's still recording though. It's dead.
Is it though?
Now it's dead. Where'd it go?
How long was this episode?
It's gonna be an audio only episode.
Yeah, it could be.
We're at 55 minutes.
Oh, no, we're good. There's way more than enough footage. But
It's gonna be a weird way to end it
yeah,
on YouTube, anyways.
we do it vocal. Look, like right here, we're doing a cappella. I just want to give a shout out to everybody who watches Lemonade Podcast. Thank you for watching here on YouTube. Peace. You end it, you see?
Is that how you do it?
I guess. I don't know. We haven't done this one yet. This is one of our hiccups.
Technical difficulties here on the Lemonade Podcast.
You see, bro, I told you.
It's you, bro.
Nothing to be nervous about.
Maybe there's a ghost here.
Hey, play his fuck up.
Batteries.
How long do you guys do your episodes for? Like an hour some change?
Well, like 40 minutes, 45 usually our average.
The sweet spot is 30.
Yeah, 30 to 40.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this is gonna be real fucking choppy. So good luck, Matt. No, but Raul, at the end of the day, bro, like I said, with people watching you do your thing, they're seeing that you're doing it. You're going after yours, and we want to showcase that here at the Lemonade Podcast. What you do with any medium that you choose to, express yourself. It's always great. But thank you for your time, for your energy, and for your story. And here at the Lemonade Podcast, we just want you to continue to make your lemonade, bro. And hopefully we get to see you in a couple more years and through grad school and all that shit, and you're big time. All right, bro. So toast to you. Thanks for everything, bro. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Hell yeah.
Is it still on?
Yes.
That's all that matters.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How'd it go?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you feel?
How come we don't do
I was nervous a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the-
It happens. I get nervous in the beginning too, but other than that,
But yeah, after that,
Right now they're talking.
Yeah.
posting.
Once you get into
Kinda
your
like
zone,
going
you
mute.
talking about the shit.
Because
That's why I never
the
expect that anymore. I don't ask too
Yeah, the
much.
credits.
I ask those simple ones, and you
You
just
can-
say,
you can do that.
That's cool. You're meeting like hella different people.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know?
Sometimes, like, sometimes
25
Frank is like,
episodes
cheers,
already?
and they cheer, and then slams
So-
the thing down, and he just gets up and walks
bro.
off.
Got it, bro.
One eternity later.